hopefully sound will be back. If it is, let me know. I have the microphone sound going up and down, so it looks like it's okay my end now. The challenge of doing a reboot just for a live stream and the software not picking up what the actual device was in the actual settings. But yeah, it looks like it's all back now. Apologies. So yeah, literally, as I was just saying on this one here, it's a summary spreadsheet of my challenge and the logging of it. So we've got start date, and yeah, fantastic. Starting equity, ending equity per day, so I can see what my profit and loss is and percentage gain. And really over here is just summarizing how I'm going to calculate my trade sizes and risk, as well as my lot size. Now, when I'm looking to get into the FTMO challenge, I'm not looking to go in massively to start with. I don't want to be risking 1% on every single trade, because obviously as soon as you get into that drawdown, you want to make sure that you're able to recover from that one quickly. So I'll be looking to probably scale in to start with, around about 0.5% or 0.25% per trade. And therefore, if I look at how much I'll be risking on 0.5%, £350, and therefore how many pips per risk is that allows me of how much pounds per point, I can convert it into lot sizes approximately. So if we look on British pound, if I'm looking to trade one lot, that's equivalent to £7. So if I wanted to have a 20 pip stop loss on trading GBP at 0.5%, I'll be wanting to have 5 lots. Fairly straightforward to work out. As well as also want to have a summary on the challenge. So my start and end date, 22 trading days in the month approximately, given that the weekends. Now I've got a target of, trade on weekends, 30 days possibly. The only thing you can trade on weekends occasionally is crypto, but a lot of the MetaTrader platforms don't run that on weekends, so I don't allow trading at weekends on my days remaining. So I'm looking to get 10% return. That's £7,000 on the account. Approximate daily target of £318 or 0.45%. So for me, breaking the trading down to the smallest chunks possible allows it to be a bit more manageable. I also like to, when I start these challenges, set down my objectives for the whole month. So for week one, literally just looking to scale into some trades. Don't look to complete the challenge in one day. I've seen so many videos of people saying, I did the challenge in one day, one trade. To do that is a massive amount of risk, and yes, it can be done, but for me it's just too much of a pressure. So looking this week, I need to get 1% gain on the account, just obviously scaling in. And then week two, always building on the success of the week one, increasing the trade risk. So if I'm trading at 0.5%, I might look to trade up to 1%. And again, that gain of that week, looking to get over 3%. Again, it's only 1 or 2 trades per week if you're looking to get a good risk to reward. Week three, looking to make sure and maintain that discipline and maximize rewards on the week. Then week four, just finish the challenge off. Now, as we all know, we could get 1 or 2 fantastic trades in the first week and complete it. But that's not my aim. It's to get in there slowly and make sure we've got all of the foundations set up correctly. So yeah, just scanning back to the charts. As you can see here, I was trying to explain earlier, on the FTSE, what I like to do a particular setup is look at the range that the price has been in between 8:30 and 11:30. So we're pretty much coming up to that time now, and where the high is, I'll set a buy order, and where low is, set a sell order. Now, it's a relatively high success rate on this one because of you catching the momentum as it's coming in. There's no news coming out today to get any big reversals. So as you can see from the opening session, there was a lot of buyers coming to the market here. Price rallied from 7,060 up to 7,100, so a 40-point move on the FTSE up, and since it's been selling off quite consistently and just about to potentially break through my sell order. So my sell stop is set at 7,067, so we're 1.5 points above that currently. Got a 30-point take profit. I've not put the stop loss in yet. I'll do that when the trade is triggered, and I've gone in at 1 lot on this one, which is equivalent to £10 per point. So if we're looking to make 300 on this one, so just over 0.5% risk. So when I was looking at this trade yesterday, the setup on the FTSE, let's go back to the 15-minute chart. We had this double top forming at the beginning, and obviously prices consolidated for the rest of the US session, which wasn't ideal. I really wanted it to break down through here, come up and retest and come back down. I gave up in the afternoon, just it wasn't really worth hanging around and watching this one. It just went sideways, which was quite nicely. So if I wasn't that trade, I would have been stopped out. As always, the hardest thing is just sitting on your hands and doing nothing and just waiting for the trades to come along. Euro's been quite interesting as well. I'm looking to potentially trade this one. It's just really waiting for that setup to come along. Now, previously I've said on this one before, with this zone here where the price has been breaking up and down, it's been quite held strong. It's now looking to break down, so that for me is not ideal. I want to be looking for buy signals here because the major trend is up, so I'd be looking to buy the euro. So yeah, I want to see it consolidate above this line, break up through the 50 moving average and then buy. So I want to take a look at my favourite one, which is gold. Now gold has not done much over the past couple of sessions really. It can be quite volatile, but at the moment it's just literally just kind of consolidating. It's broken through the 1900 and not done much above that one, so we could see a consolidation for a few days and another break. Now looking at today, there's potential here to short gold. If it breaks down through here, we can then start putting stop losses in just above the highs and targets down. I'd probably potentially target here, just down at this level here. So we've got probably 2 to 1 on gold if it breaks that level. It'd be interesting to see what does happen because we are looking a little bit weaker on gold now. But for me, always looking at the overall trend direction. 4-hour chart, trend is massively up. So ideally, it's that contradiction always, isn't it? It's what we're looking at on a 15-minute chart and what we're looking at on the 4-hour bigger picture. Now, if I'm only trading the major trend direction of up, then yeah, definitely not looking for shorts. But as we go down to lower time frames, we can see that we are starting to form a more of a downward trend. So there could be that sort of bigger pullback on the bigger picture. So it's a tough one. I think I actually might do this actually on gold. I'm going to place an order. I'm going to place a sell order at 1894. Quite a small trade. Pending order, sell stop. Price 1894, stop loss 1901. Always get those boxes mixed up. So that is a trade on gold. We're looking at breaking down through the lows and continuation into, I would anticipate somewhere in the region of 1880. So a 7-point risk, probably a 15 to 20 point reward. So again, 2 to 1. And if we look back at my spreadsheet here on lot size on gold, and risking 0.25, so only about £15 per point on gold. So only about 0.25%, so very, very low risk on that one in particular. So again, just wait on gold. FTSE trade has triggered. You can see here we have broken down through the sell stop. We are 5 points up currently. 25 points to go. What I've normally trade on this one, on this particular strategy setup, is put a 1-to-1, so stop loss would be at 30 points. So stop loss here would be at 1797. But I will often leave these running without a stop loss because they are quite consistent. But as it gets into the trade, I will put the stop loss in and put the stop loss potentially at 30 points, which I will put in now just to make sure it's covered off. As this trade goes on, if it does break quite significantly and consolidate, I will potentially move the stop loss down to just above this high here to make sure that we've locked in or reduced the risk. So if we're looking at this area here for stop loss at 7083, 7085, we can also reduce the risk down to probably 0.25% and let the trade run until we hit take profit. Delete. So I was watching a live stream earlier with trader Tom Hogard. He's a really good trader from Denmark. I've been on a lot of his seminars and courses in the past, and he was talking around stop losses in quite a lot of detail. And one of the questions that he was asked, and he covered off, was why does he never trade with a stop loss or put them into his charting package? Now, his answer was he has a stop loss and it's more mental. But he has that sort of critical stop loss at a very high level, and he'll always get out of the trade at that point. But for a lot of the trades he enters at market execution, he won't always put the stop loss on at that point and just literally watch him and manage that as it goes through. Ideally, it's always nice to have those if there's going to be a big news article coming out, but as there's nothing coming out today for news-wise, it's just not really worth stressing too much. You can see the price isn't going to move drastically. It's not going to spike up by 50 or 100 points and being a huge negative, so I'm happy to not have the stop loss on the order and then put it in manually as we get the trade to develop. So I could sit here and watch this for the next hour, 2 hours to see if it takes profit or not, or I could just move to another chart and see what's going to do. I'm just curious what Bitcoin's doing today. Bitcoin is one that I would not trade on the FTMO challenge purely because of the volatility and the spreads. You really want to be on something for a long period of time. You could get into a trade on one particular day and very easily be taken out, or you could, as I say, when Chinese came in last week and announced they weren't going to support Bitcoin as their cryptocurrency, then they could have actually, you could have made in a day, you could short it at half a contract size and easily taken out the 7,000 10% target. But for me, it's not one I ever trade on. This one in particular, on the challenges, it's just too much of a, I won't say ball ache, but it's just an absolute pain to try and keep on top of Bitcoin. When we look at us on a daily chart, if we start looking onto 15-minute, it's really, really choppy. So same thing, if we were looking to trade a 15-minute here, if we're looking at a breakout, then where would we put our stop loss? As an example, break of there, stop loss below here. That is how many points effectively? So we're talking about a 500 move, but we've actually got 170 to 180 of that just in a spread. So it's just not worth trading Bitcoin for me or cryptocurrencies on the FTMO challenges. I'd like to stick to what I know, FTSE, gold, and the major currency pairs, so British pound and euro. Let's take a look at British pound now. We're starting to see, if we look at this one, a bit of support coming in here at 141.30. Now, is there anything further back? Waiting for a screen update. There's no real support further back on this one. There's a bit of sideways movement on British pound. So yeah, potentially this could be a buy area for British pound and hold that up for 100 and 200 points, move higher. But I'm not really worried about that. Just think, what could I do on this as a trade setup? Nothing. I can't see anything on this. Look on a higher time frame. We are in a very strong uptrend on GBP. As we go down the time frames, it gets a bit more confusing. So daily nicely up, 4 hour nicely up. 1 hour now starting to go sideways. 15-minute now going down. 5-minute now going down. So we've got a real conflict of timeframes on British pound. So for me, it's just literally wait and hold and see if we can get a confirmation back on the 15-minute and the day and the hourly chart to confirm with the daily. It might be that this, as an example, doesn't start to recover and we start to see a big pullback back into the 140, 139 region on British pound, going back into the 50 moving average, and therefore that would potentially be a place where we start shorting that on the short lower time frames. But me, I'm just going to leave that alone for now. The question being spreads on Ethereum. I've no idea on FTMO. I don't trade cryptocurrencies on here. The only reason I would probably look at cryptocurrencies where I'm doing longer term investments and buying and holding, not looking to trade on the FTMO challenges. There's plenty of opportunities on the ones that I do like, and to get into other cryptocurrencies, for me, it's just not something I'm looking to do right now. So we often get asked a lot of time around what is my main trading style and trading strategy, and I always look to trade with a trend, look for multiple confirmation on time zones and trade with those, or look for breakouts. Now, breakouts often take a long time to form if you're looking at pullbacks into where they've broken through, and therefore you can then continue that move on. But it's really, the charts are looking really, I won't say choppy, but just not a lot of fun right now. It could be any number of good trades or bad trades, and it's just what I perceive as what's in the charts right now. It's not telling me enough to want to get into a trade. Look at gold. Zoom in a bit on that one, so we're not quite. Yeah, gold again, getting that level of support on the 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, same thing. It's getting that support, so I'd be more confident doing a short breakout on gold. That's why obviously the order's placed, and I'll just sit here and wait. So just to confirm for anyone, if they've not seen the account metrics with FTMO, on this particular page, we now say that I'm in the trade. We now say I've started the challenge, 2nd of June. It will now end on the 1st of July. What they used to do is actually were very time specific, and actually would have the exact date and time that the first trade was placed, and therefore they calculate to the end of that day. What they now do is actually run to the end of that day. So they actually run to midnight on the 1st of July and then close the count off there. So you can see, looking at the objectives, 10 days minimum trading days, none so far because I've not actually done any trading. Today would count as one day at the end of the day. Maximum daily loss, which is the 5%. This trade I'm only risking 0.5% and 0.25% on the gold trade. So the worst case I'm going to be in today is down about £450, maybe £500. Again, nowhere near the maximum daily loss. Max loss overall, 10% drawdown. Because I'm managing the daily risk, I'm not going to get anywhere near that one. And profit target, because no trades have been closed, it's just literally showing there as what the maximum was at any particular time, or the current profit when it did a refresh on the charts, which I think is every 15 minutes or so. And again, as we go down through the summary, there's no data to actually give on what I've done for trading journal or instruments. So again, that will build up over the days. So what I'll be looking to do as I do these sort of more daily live streams is look to review the trades I'm in. So if these trades win, I can then review those at the beginning of the next live stream session, and obviously then be able to give an evaluation of the performance, good or bad. But as I say, I'm not looking to pass the challenge in one day. I'm looking to build this up over multiple days throughout the week, and as we go into next week and the week 3, that's when we're looking to complete the challenge. But as always, if there's a huge bit of volatility in the market, then we'll be looking to capitalize where we can. So before I close this stream, I've done about half an hour so far, which I'm now into a trade, which is great. I'll be able to manage this trade throughout the next sort of couple of hours, but ultimately I'll probably just leave it and walk away. Normally when you start sitting in front of the screen and watching and watching and watching, you'll start to overcompensate and start to think about what if could happen, what would happen likely, and it just becomes very confusing. So for me, I'd rather just let this trade run. If I go into the 5-minute time zone on this particular FTSE trade, we can see it's broken down out of the zone I was looking for. It's obviously come back in and now retesting. We are in a slight, £35 drawdown, which is not significant. You'd always expect to get a bit of movement. We are seeing confirmation from the indicators here, moving averages and the RSI, that we are into a bit of a downward trend. So I'm confident to hold on to this one, and my stop is well above where the recent ranges were. So someone's asking here, am I aiming to have 4 $70,000 accounts by the end of the year? Yes, most definitely. My aim has always been to build as many FTMO accounts as possible and maximise out of their $400,000 or £280,000 maximum allowance on any particular trading. Then once I've done with FTMO and I'm many months into that one successfully, I can then start looking at other prop firms and start doing their challenges as well. Where I've had problems in the past is doing multiple challenges with multiple prop firms on different platforms. It's got very confusing, and the copy trading wasn't working as I expected to, and it just didn't really suit my trading style. I'd rather be more consistent, just have the one chart, the one platform, the one account working at a particular time, and then as I go through, you can obviously start scaling up and adding more onto it. So yeah, definitely by the end of this year, as many funded accounts as possible, and then take that money out from the earnings and move it into my own live accounts or crypto portfolio. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining me on this quick half-an-hour session today. I'll probably just let this run for the rest of the day and go off and do something a bit more exciting rather than looking at charts. And I'll set up another stream for tomorrow morning where I can review this potential winning trade. If it's not a winning trade, I can dissect why it didn't happen and look to refine the technique and the strategy and get onto a better one tomorrow. So again, thanks for everyone for joining today, and I will set up another stream for tomorrow. Thanks a lot, guys.